Hello, everyone. Today I want to talk about formatting output. When you need to format a string to look a certain way, we use string.format. Notice that it's a static method in the string class. That's fairly unusual to have static methods mixed with instance methods in a class. There's tons of methods in the string class, which we've yet to talk a lot about. Some are for capitalizing and making lowercase or taking parts of a string, and we'll get to all those. But those are all instance methods. But there are actually a couple of static methods. So remember, static methods are called in the name of the class. So string.format. If you just want to print to the console, you can actually shorten this by using printf for print format. But usually, if we're using a graphical application or we have to put on a menu, usually string.format is sufficient. So basically, string.format uses three flags. There's actually more than that, but we'll be using three. So %s for strings, and those can be really anything because anything can be converted to a string. %f for floating point numbers like 5.3, 3.14159, negative 23.39, and %d for decimal numbers. And by that I mean integers in base 10. I know that's confusing. We think of decimal numbers in everyday speech being the numbers that are actually called floating point in computer science. What we call decimal numbers in computer science are numbers that are base 10, 0 through 9. There are other bases, and they're used a lot in computer science, like binary, octal, and hexadecimal, and they have their own flag. So these flags are for holding places for formatting. And so there are lots of formatting options. I just want to look at a few right now. If we say %10s, it's going to make a string s take up a minimum of 10 spaces. So this is a way you can make your output appear in columns. Notice I say a minimum of 10 spaces. So if the string itself has more than 10 spaces, it will not lose information. It will just shove everything to the right, which will probably mess up your formatting, but it won't cut off the word. Here's another example, negative 12s. Well, the negative symbol, we know the 12 is 12 spaces. The negative means instead of being right justified where all the leftover spaces at the front, now it's left justified, all the leftover spaces are to the right. For the floating point numbers, it's very useful to be able to round it because we know that there's going to be an unspecified number of decimal places. 0.2f will round to exactly 2 decimals. I could do 0.1f. I could even do 0.0f to round to no decimal places at all. You can also add a number in front of the decimal place, which tells me how many numbers total, including the decimal there be. So it won't be 8 digits and then 2 decimals. It'll be a total of, it would be 5 digits, a decimal for 6, and then 2 more for 8. Likewise, with just like with strings, we can do integer numbers take up 8 spaces. We can do that. We could also make it take up 7 spaces and 0 padded. So let's take a look at that for just a second. I just got a project we've already worked on here, and I just want to look at a couple things. How do we do this? So string.format will return a string formatted as I want. So I could say %, and it actually needs to be in quotes. These are string formatters. It takes it as a string. And then after that, you put a comma, and for however many of these you have, you put that many parameters. So I could say percent, I could say hi. And so what's going to happen is the hi will be part of the s. So I won't put a semicolon on so I can actually see it happen. There it is, hi. So I could do another one. I could say %5 %5s %10s, and I can say hi, bye. And so because I have 2 of them, I need 2 parameters. Okay? And you can see this took up 1, 2, should be 5 spaces. This is going to be another 10 spaces, but notice that they're right justified. If I put a negative sign in front of the number, they'll be left justified. And I'm not actually printing this right now because I'm just in the interactive shell, but if I wanted to print it, I'd have to do something like that. Put it in a print statement. I can even add stuff in front of it and add it like that. and you'll see that when I run this, should bring up a console. And you can see that it is, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then the next one is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, let's take a look at a few others. Maybe we could have like an int x equals 3. And I could say string.format percent for d x. Oops, I misspelled format. And so that's going to take up 4 spaces, but you'll notice that it's right justified. Okay. If I put a negative in front of that, it should be left justified now. But if I put in a 0, what's going to happen is it's going to make 0 padded, as we say. Now, I don't think we can put a minus sign because that doesn't make sense. You can't really do both, right? See, you only get one choice there. It wouldn't make sense. Why would it doesn't matter if I'm left or right justified because this is going to take up 4 spaces. So no, you can't do that. So you can make it do 2, 3, or however many you need. And it will be, so that's fairly handy. Let's take a look at the string.format floating point. So I'll do 4.2, and let's just type in a number here, 3.14159. And I want you to note what happens here is that I get to 2 decimal places, and it's 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces exactly. And that's including the decimal. Okay, so if I say like 8, we should see a total of 8 spaces. So that'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Just remember that 8 includes all the numbers and the decimal. And there you have it. So that's string.format. Remember, it returns a string. You can even, save it like this and say string.format. Remember, it's got to be in quotes, percent. Let's see here. Let's say percent. I'll say 3D, 03D, number 6. And then you can see that, I've thought about calling it that, but I didn't. And there it is. There is another way you can do this, and that's with what's called printf, system.out.println. And the way that goes is that, and not println, printf. And so printf will just automatically format for you. So percent, I'll do the 8.2f again, 3.14159. So this is automatically going to make a formatted string and then print it. So printf is useful when you're doing console work. You can see that I've got a total of 8 spaces and exactly 2 decimals. But when you can survive with just string.format. Printf only works on the console though, because if you're trying to do something like put it on a button or in a chart or a table online, like on an application, but then you'd have to use string.format. Well, that's basically it. Okay, good luck.